The wind and the sun.
It was an autumn day. The wind and the sun had an argument. The wind boasted, "I am stronger than you." The sun mildly said, "No, you are not." Just then they saw a traveler wrapped in a blanket was passing by. The wind said, "Whoever separates the blanket from traveler is the stronger. Do you agree?" The sun replied, "Okay. First you try." The wind started blowing. The traveler wrapped his blanket around him. He blew harder. The traveler held his blanket firmer. He blew still harder. The traveler held his blanket still tighter. The harder the wind blew, the tighter and firmer did the traveler hold his blanket. The wind failed. It was the sun's turn. The sun smiled gently at the traveler. The traveler loosened his grip on the blanket. The sun smiled warmly. The traveler felt the warmth and soon took off the blanket. The sun was declared stronger. Moral: gentle smile can achieve what brutal force can't.
Short story. Two gentlemen.
Two old gentlemen lived in a quiet street in Paris. They were friends and neighbors, and they often went for walks together in the streets when the weather was fine. Last Saturday, they went for a walk at the side of the river. The sun shone, the weather was warm. There were a lot of flowers everywhere, and there were boats on the water. The two men walked happily for half an hour, and then one of them said to the other, "That's a very beautiful girl." "Where can you see a beautiful girl?" said the other. "I can't see one anywhere. I can see two young men. They are walking towards us." "The girl's walking behind us," said the first man quietly. "But how can you see her then?" asked his friend. The first man smiled and said, "I can't see her, but I can see the young men's eyes."
Short story. Fred.
Fred was a young soldier in a big cap. During the week they always worked very hard, but it was Saturday, and all the young soldiers were free, so their officers said to them, "You can go into the town this afternoon, but first I'm going to inspect you." Fred came to the officer, and the officer said to him, "Your hair's very long. Go to the barber, and then come back to me again." Fred ran to the barber's shop, but it was closed because it was Saturday. Fred was very sad for a few minutes, but then he smiled and went back to the officer. "Are my boots clean now, sir?" he asked. The officer did not look at Fred's hair. He looked at his boots and said, "Yes, they're much better now. You can go out, and next week, first clean your boots and then come to me."